On this week's episode, we recap the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. It's a pretty slow week other than the NFL, so we have a ton of topics in our random thoughts segment, including Conor McGregor's return. Then we wrap up with our picks for championship weekend. Follow us on Twitter at the Vig Bets for our picks, lineup dates, and general news throughout sports.
This week's episode brought to you by Action 24/7. They are a reliable sportsbook with thousands of active players from all around the world. They cater to everyone's needs with their in-demand products, from in-game sports betting to live casino, esports, and much more. They provide fast payouts, great bonus structure, and 24/7 customer support. Put your action on the NFL championship games this weekend and anything else that you want to waste your money on. Sign up today and use code THEVIG and receive 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use that welcome bonus for all that other nonsense.
Yep.
Use your real money for those championship games once we give out the picks.
And I got a little bit different approach this week, and I guess we can just get right into why, because I went 1-3 this week. I'm pretty sure I went 2-4 the week before. So I'm off to just a terrible playoff record.
Right. I'm hot again in the playoffs. I started the season really hot, kind of struggled the last 4 weeks. And then I think I went 4-2 and then 3-1.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't say, okay, here we go. So I'm a little worried. This might be a cursed episode.
Right. Or just say it now.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Start right off with the NFL recap. How'd you do last weekend?
I went 1-3. I think I went 2-3 or 2-4.
But yeah, we can start right away. I think the first game was that Green Bay game, right? Saturday early.
Yeah. Yep.
I had the Packers -6.5. You had the Rams +6.5. I don't even know what the final score ended up being, but the Packers covered.
Yeah, it was Rams 18, Packers 32. So, and credit to the Rams. They did a decent job. They were as in it as they could have been. And my pick for the Rams wasn't even based on anything. I just hate the fucking Packers.
Yeah, I know you do.
So that was that's an asterisk. 1-2 and 1, really.
No asterisk for that one.
Not really.
Letting your heart get in the way of your head there.
Yep.
That's gambling 101.
I know.
Next up, we had Baltimore. I had them +2.5. Obviously, the Bills kind of dominated that game. You also had them +2.5 in that game. The final score was 17-3. It was closer than that, though, because without the pick six, it's probably 10-10, and then who knows what happens.
And if Lamar doesn't get hurt, even when it's 17-3, I was going to say that I wouldn't have said it wasn't really close, because I think it was pretty much 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that pick six changed the whole game, and Lamar had to shit his pants again. But I'm happy the Bills won. It's kind of like we said last week,
right.
We want the Bills to win, but I thought that the Ravens were going to win outright. But
right. I knew I should have put the house on the Bills right away when Justin Tucker missed the first field goal. It was that's it. That's the sign.
Yeah. I can't believe he missed too. And I kind of was tweeting this out during the game. His eyes are freaking crazy. He's got crazy eyes. But yeah, he went, what did he go on the night? 1 of 3? So
yeah, something must have been.
They only
2, made 1.
3. And then so Taron Johnson had that pick six, obviously. Did you know that he's the guy who got hit in the face at the combine running the gauntlet?
No.
Do you know that video?
No.
So do you know what the gauntlet drill is?
No.
It's when they catch the balls and then they run down the field and catch as they're running. And he catches the balls and then starts running, and a ball just hits him directly in the face. And he just keeps going but he gets drilled, and it went viral. It's so funny, and it pops up every now and then. But he's come a long way. He just had, the play of the playoffs.
Right. Crazy catch.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy catch.
Really bad throw. Terrible decision making. But overall this weekend, I know we have 2 more games to get into. I feel like the games were not great.
I didn't watch that much, to be completely honest with you. I watched the entire Bills game. I watched some of the Packers game. Um, I didn't watch any of the Cleveland game, and then
No.
I watched the Bucs Saints game.
Okay.
So I watched 2.5 games
Yeah.
of the 4.
Yeah. I watched pretty much every minute of every game. It's just kind of boring.
Right. I had the Browns plus 10. You also had the Browns plus 10. They ended up losing by 5. They had a chance to win that game too. Obviously, the big news: Mahomes gets hurt. The Browns probably should have stolen that game, but they didn't. But like we said last week, Cleveland or Kansas City has not won by more than 6 since week 8, and that trend continues.
Yeah.
They just don't play a full game of football.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care if it's one score or not. I do care as far as the gambling goes because they're favored by a ton. But I really don't see anyone beating them. And I think that game would have been way out of hand if Mahomes wasn't gone for a third of the game.
Right.
So, and the Browns coaching, just terrible. They punted the ball away in hopes that they would get a stop. Because if they didn't get a stop, the game was over. They didn't get a stop. And it shows the drastic coaching differences because the Browns need to score. Instead, they punt it away. And Andy Reid goes shotgun 4th and inches with Chad Henne.
Right.
So just shows you the different levels. But Patrick Mahomes, concussed, he's definitely playing this week. I know he's not definitely playing, but he's definitely
it's the NFL. I was going to talk about this later, but we might as well talk about it right now.
Okay.
Did you see what Colin Cowherd said? It was the most asinine thing I have ever seen in my life. And I used to like Colin Cowherd years ago, back when he was ESPN, before he went to Fox Sports.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole Baker thing, because I'm kind of a Baker guy now. That whole hate Baker thing kind of turned me off of him a little bit. And now this week, he's asking the NFL to wait until Mahomes can play. He's like, the NFL should just wait until Mahomes is healthy. Like, what? They didn't wait for the Rams for Jared Goff to recover from surgery.
Yeah.
So just because it's the Chiefs, they should wait till Mahomes is healthy to play. That made zero sense to me. I'm officially a hater of Colin Cowherd now.
Well, and I actually liked Cowherd too when I was in college. So like 4 or 5 years ago, like my sophomore year, I used to watch him all the time. But he is reaching that level of like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless of there's no way he actually thinks that's what should happen. He's just saying shit to make headlines and have people be like, you're an idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's when I don't like those guys anymore. But Jay Glazer came out and said Patrick Mahomes was not concussed. He was put in a chokehold and it pinched a nerve, which threw him off. So they're pulling all the strings to make sure he can play this weekend.
Right.
Which, I mean, I want him to play.
Yeah. There's no way. I mean, he's the NFL's golden boy. They're going to push him through protocol.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to say a word about it. I was talking earlier about same thing happened, 2 years ago? I think Gronk in the playoffs, the last Super Bowl they won, he got concussed. And of course, he came back and played the next week, and everyone like crucified the Patriots. Oh, there's no way he should be playing.
Right.
But now that it's Kansas City and it's Mahomes, everyone will be like, oh, they did such a good job getting him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, we can get into that later actually with the Kansas City game. But last up, Bucs Saints. You had Bucs +3. I had Saints -3. Bucs won 30-20. Drew Brees is done. Definitely.
Yep. I mean, you could see him on the sideline saying to Winston, "This is your team now."
Yeah, apparently, like the Saints, like people in the Saints organization, or I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was just ESPN hired like professional lip readers to see what Drew Brees was saying. So apparently that's what he said. I'm excited to see what happens. Big for Jameis 1 of 1.
Right. I mean, that's what he was saying. And that's what all the rumors on the street are. You know, he's going to play the Drew Brees role, and Taysom Hill is still going to do the same thing he's been doing, basically.
Makes sense to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Just Jameis 1 of 1 was ahead of the game because once he said that, like, they just don't want to show him so he doesn't get signed to a contract. I was like, that actually makes really good sense.
And then they showed him, and he throws a touchdown pass, perfect passer rating,
honestly,
number 1 all time in the playoff history.
The Saints might win that game if Jameis played the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, how many?
3 picks.
3 picks. So even if he plays, so what? A worst case scenario, he throws 3 picks.
Yeah, but probably
Are we sure Jameis didn't play that game?
Right, he's guaranteed 3 picks, but he's
Right.
also guaranteed 3 touchdowns. So who knows? And then Carlton Davis, he was matched up with Michael Thomas all night. I guess not. Yeah, I guess all night. Michael Thomas had 5 targets, no catches. Carlton Davis had 3 targets, let up 0 catches, and on Twitter afterwards was tweeting about Slant Boy, which is Michael Thomas's nickname. And Michael Thomas, no response, which I was shocked at because he's a freak on social media. But
I'm not going to take your bait. I know you hate Michael Thomas.
I'm not
even going to comment on this one.
I'm not baiting. I hate Michael Thomas. I thought it was funny that Carlton Davis is tweeting, "Ooh, Slant Boy."
Right.
Oh, and lastly on this game, the Saints have set a record. It's a bad record. Most wins in 4 seasons with no Super Bowl appearances.
That'll happen.
Great for Panther fans around the world.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps up last weekend. Like I said, good weekend for me. Hopefully I keep rolling. I mean, there's only 3 games left, so.
Yeah. And then we've got the FCS in February.
Right. Then we got the Madden Pro Bowl. Back to Madden Sim. Are people actually playing that game, or is it a sim?
It's got to be a sim. It has to be.
Or they just have everyone in the Pro Bowl playing their position.
Pete, just like shit show.
Like the My Player.
Yeah. That would suck.
Lamar Jackson just runs every play, never throws the ball. It's just
yeah, that would be a disaster. But all right, let's get into our random thoughts right off the bat. Sticking with football, Phil Rivers has officially retired. And of course, it sparks Andrew Luck conversation. How long do you think until people give up on that? How many years?
Too long. It's already been too long.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
I would say probably another 2 years. We'll hear about it unless they get a quarterback. And
what's the deal with Jacob Eason? Like, everyone was pretty high on him in the draft, and now they're talking about them going out and getting Wentz or drafting somebody, or
I don't know. Maybe it's because anytime Rivers wasn't in there this season, it was Brissett. So maybe Eason's just not the guy. I don't know how they determine that.
Right. I mean, there's no preseason. You've never seen the guy play.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe he's good and they're just stashing him.
They're pulling a Jameis Winston.
Right.
And Phil Rivers obviously released like his retirement letter. It was a full page. And the funniest part is that although it was a full page, like at least half of it were just his kids' names because he was thanking everybody. And it included all of his children. So like half of the whole thing was just all of his 15 kids.
At least he can remember his kids' names unlike what's his name there? Was it Antonio Cromartie or the other one? Yeah. It was one of them.
Yep.
And they interviewed him and he couldn't even remember his kid's name. So
it's got to be tough, especially when it's all with different women.
Right. Good for Phil though. Like, yeah. I've turned into a Phillip Rivers fan. I hated him early in his career, but
yeah, was it 18 seasons?
A long time.
18 seasons, 0 curse words. Just he is an all-time great. Is he gonna make the Hall of Fame, you think?
I don't know. It's tough because the numbers are so inflated now.
I know
they are. Like, I was watching an old Super Bowl with McNabb, and he was like, he might have been the first player to ever throw like 30 touchdowns and under 5 interceptions. And that happens every single year now.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you got to think that he has to be like a top 50 quarterback all time, but we'll see, I guess. And then other big news, Sarah Thomas will be officiating the Super Bowl. First female official ever. I think she's a line judge. I'm not sure, but she's the first female official or referee, whatever, in the NFL. And now the first female in the Super Bowl. So good for Sarah Thomas.
Right. Half the people in the world are going to hate her, just like every other ref.
Yeah. Yep.
Doesn't matter what you do.
Equality.
Right. They're going to be just as pissed at her as they are any other official.
Yep.
At least half the people. Half the people will love you.
Every person who has an American flag next to their Twitter handle, though, will be like, "Why is there a woman on the field?" And that won't be justified.
Right. What do we got up next here? I meant to talk about this last week because we were talking a lot about hockey, but
Yeah.
Evander Kane filed for bankruptcy. I think he's in Winnipeg now. I can't
I'm
keep
not
track.
sure.
He's been all over the place. I think he's in Winnipeg now. I mean, he's made like an astronomical amount of money, like $50 million, 50 million dollars, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Filed for bankruptcy, all from gambling.
Yeah. So how much did he lose?
I think like 26 million. Does that sound right?
That sounds right. And he lost $1.5 million, I think, in the last month.
Yeah.
I saw something like his monthly income right now is negative $90,000. But he's in the middle. He signed a 7-year contract in 2018 worth 49 million. So he's making $7 million a year.
Yeah.
So, and he has like 3 homes and $10 million worth of assets. It's like, dude, I know how to get you out of this situation.
Right.
And talk to our guy, Frederick Smith from FedEx. He knows how to gamble when you're facing bankruptcy.
But yeah, just wild story. I mean, you see all the pictures of him in Vegas with the stacks of money holding it up like it's a phone and stuff. And then, I mean, it's like, what's his name there?
Johnny Manziel.
Well, I was going to say, who is it? Jermaine Dupri, Money Ain't a Thing. And then he was bankrupt like 5 years after he made that song.
That's like, being a professional athlete and having a gambling problem is a recipe for disaster.
Right. And a lot of them have it. I mean, Phil does. Phil Mickelson does. I know MJ does.
Well, no, Michael Jordan doesn't have a gambling problem. He has a competition problem. And then real quick, back to the NFL. AJ Brown, did you see this?
Yes.
Surgery on both knees. Apparently, the team doctors or whatever said he was going to be done for the year after week 1. And he played the rest of the season. I think led his team in all wide receiver stats, made the Pro Bowl. Now I'm officially declaring myself as a Madden purist. He shouldn't be able to play in the Pro Bowl. They should make him injured. If Madden is as real as it wants to be,
right?
He's not playing. Don't put him in there.
I wonder what he had done.
I saw that he had I was gonna actually wanted to ask you about this. He had a boned bruise or
a boned bruise. All right.
He had a bruised bone.
Okay.
But is there a surgery that relates to that?
Not really.
So I think he had an ankle injury too.
There had to be something more. The thing I'm wondering is, yes, maybe he could have played the year with it and make the Pro Bowl, but I wonder long term, how much more damage he did to himself by doing that. And right now he's the tough guy because I played the whole year when I needed surgery, and then next thing you know, he's out of the league in 2 years because he
can't walk.
Stuff. Right.
Well, and I think there's no real information on it other than he just went on Instagram Live. So I think, and all he said
was he still drugged up?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just saw the quotes.
Okay. I did watch it. It looked like he was a little too happy.
His agent was probably like, dude, you can't be saying all this stuff. We're not supposed to be letting this out. He's
right.
High as balls. And then did you see
speaking of high as balls, you see Josh Gordon kicked out of the league again?
Oh, that poor guy. I feel bad for him because he has a legit problem.
Yes.
A real problem. He needs
and it has to be more because didn't they decriminalize weed in the NFL? Didn't they basically say we're not suspending people anymore? So it had to be.
He's probably on pills. It's gotta be.
It's got to be something else. So
painkillers or something.
Because he didn't get surgery when he was supposed to, and then next thing,
right. One thing leads to the other.
Right. AJ Brown, the next.
Knee injuries are a gateway drug.
Right. So look out. Calling it now. AJ Brown suspended in 2022.
Yeah. Did you see the Tennessee football recruiting scandal?
No.
Oh my God. This is ridiculous. I don't have much on it, but they're in deep shit because when they would visit recruits or recruits would visit them, they'd hand them McDonald's, but instead of food being in the bags, it was just money. So, and they were apparently just being like super blatant with it, not
Right.
hiding it all, just like,
Right.
hey, here's some money. And it's just a brown McDonald's bag full of cash.
Right. Better or worse than Louisville hiring hookers?
I mean, if I'm a recruit, worse. That's way worse.
Right.
The shit that story is incredible.
Right. Well, and then who was it? Coastal Carolina. That it was them, right? That had the cheerleading team was running a prostitution ring.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Right. College athletics is wild.
Yeah,
wild.
And something that I read in the article that was just like kind of brushed under the rug is that Tennessee, the quote I read was like, Tennessee has been very blatant, and so has Georgia. But Georgia, and they were like, but Georgia's not getting investigated. So look out for Georgia. They're going to end up being screwed probably soon.
They all do it. And anyone who thinks they don't is.
That's kind of what it was saying. It was like, these two schools aren't hiding it like the other programs.
Right. I mean, I know someone who went to a Big Ten school who was a wrestler, and he said if they won a match, well, when they came back, there was always money in their locker. Nobody ever knew where it came from. It was just there. And if you won, it was like double the money.
That's awesome.
And he was like, I went to one of the smaller Big Ten schools and I wrestled. He's like, imagine what guys at Ohio State playing football are getting.
Well, it always comes up every year at the draft when they show the families and they're in this like mansion and they're like, wonder how they afforded that house.
Right. Well, it's like Zion. The whole thing was Zion before he got, like when he went to Duke, all of a sudden his family was in a multi-million-dollar home.
Yeah,
this was before he even went to college.
Right. Yeah.
Or LeBron had the Hummer. Like it just, I don't know. I don't even really understand why it's not okay. Like I understand it's a recruiting violation, but why don't they just allow all that stuff? Unless it's for like equal, like I think because Ohio State can afford more than.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Who cares? Let it happen.
Right. I mean, everyone who's good is going to Alabama anyways.
Right. And if
regardless of whether or not they're giving them the most money. In fact, it would probably equalize things a little bit more. Like some of these smaller schools could afford to get a guy or two.
So I did a whole school project on this in high school. And that was like our argument, that one of the arguments against it was it's unfair because some schools have a ton of money, but it's also like kids will take less money from other schools if they're going to be able to start and actually make a better name for themselves too. So if Alabama can't get everybody, because not everybody will want to go there and sit on the bench, even if they're making money.
Right.
So I don't see the problem with it, but. And then Jared Porter, we want to talk some Jared Porter.
Yes.
We're talking scandals.
So. Right. My bold prediction, I haven't had one of these in a while, is that Jared Porter will go down as the greatest GM of all time.
Oh my God. Well, who's he going to be GM for?
Nobody. It doesn't matter. He was there for 1 month and he pulled off the Lindor trade. If they win the World Series because of Lindor, he's the greatest GM of all time. Never screwed up, brought the team a championship. So if the Mets win the World Series this year, Jared Porter is the greatest GM in the history of baseball.
Never screwed up is a tough term to use, but
he was not the GM when he was sending those dick pics.
That's true. He sent like 70 unanswered texts and a ton. Like, what a psychopath!
It's Brett Favre. Brett Favre did the same thing. Remember that?
Yeah. And the Mets now, between Jared Porter and Carlos Beltran, love just getting GMs who never actually GM. They just get the title and then they're bounced.
And then they're gone.
Yeah.
Do you think guys are like have zero interest in that job now? They're like, fuck, like what's gonna come up about me if I become the GM of the Mets?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But that's a disaster.
Just when everything is looking right for the Mets.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. The Mets have to be the Mets in some capacity or another. Right. And then I put Joe Biden down here because the inauguration just happened. So I think people must be getting paid out officially for all those bets placed.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I tried to find information on it and there was nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if they just voided everything.
Yeah, maybe.
How many angry Trump supporters are like marching the streets of Vegas to go to the books and be like, no, pay me. Trump really won.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Now back to some current stuff right here. UFC 257 is this weekend, which is McGregor versus Poirier 2. McGregor's a favorite, minus 325. Poirier's
This is
plus.
happening already. Didn't they just announce this?
It's been a while. It's been a
Has
few
it?
months. Yeah.
Time is flying, I guess.
Yep. And Poirier's underdog plus 250, over under 2.5 rounds. The over is plus 150, under is minus 192. And the most likely result is McGregor knockout TKO in the first round, plus 175, which that would be my pick. So, but I don't have much to say on this. It's a big event. Figure we would at least mention it.
Right. Yeah, McGregor's getting old. He's got to be.
Yeah, he's in his almost mid 30s, I would say. But I think he hasn't like drank in maybe a year. He says he was drinking all fight week before that Khabib fight. He looks real good. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks just incredible. And then I have an idea, and I have an invention.
Okay.
And I didn't do any research as into if it exists or not, because I didn't want to find out that it does exist. So I'll do that after this. But an app, like, when you're watching Gamecast and it's like, whatever, the Falcons have a 99.8% chance to win.
Yes.
An app where you can put in your bets and that happens. It follows it. And it's like, you have a 99.8% of it hitting. What do you think?
I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know if you have the spread and the team is up, there's got to be a way to.
So you're saying like you put your bet in.
Yeah, and it tracks the score of the game with your bet
and gives you a probability that you're going to win or not.
Yeah,
that sounds like it would just piss me off.
I know. That was my thought too. But right. I would watch it. Right. I would absolutely watch it.
Because I mean, that's basically what it would be money line just watching that, right? Like the one they have now. I'm saying the one they have now, like you could do it if you're betting.
Yeah.
Money line, but you want something where you could throw a spread in there and it's like they have this percentage of winning by 3.
I mean, it can't be much different than the way that the calculation is made now, because all it would have to do would be to add or subtract those points.
Right.
So if it's not a thing, if anyone's listening and can do this, I need the credit for it, but we can work together. Because if we don't work together and I find out, we are getting sued big time. So let's figure out a deal.
Right. We have no patent, no anything on this, but we will sue you anyways.
We will. Yeah. You got anything else for random thoughts?
I don't think so.
I thought I had something else, but I'll think of it if it comes up.
So this weekend, right? That's what's up next.
Yeah.
It's going to be a quick one. There's only a couple games.
Yep.
All right. So first up, we have Tampa Bay is +3 at Green Bay. The total is 51.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay is 10-7-1 against the spread. Green Bay is 11-6. Tampa Bay is 5-5 on the road and 3-1 as the underdog. Green Bay is 6-3 at home and 9-5 as the favorite. I did a lot of research into this game because this is going to be, I actually think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch because it's supposed to be cold and snowy. And my immediate first reaction seeing the line at 51 was, I'm going to take the over in this game because these guys love this type of weather and playing in this type of weather.
Mm-hmm.
But the two of them have played 16 games combined in this weather, like under 28 degrees and snowy.
Okay.
Brady is 6-2 in those games. Rodgers is 7-1. So we have two of the best here.
Mm-hmm.
But they've actually only gone over 50 in half of those games. I thought it would be a little higher than that, but it's not. So originally, like I said, I was going to take the over, but it's split right down the middle. Like
Yeah.
eight games between the two of them. They have 8 games that haven't.
I wonder what happens if you take the snow out, because I don't think it's supposed to snow anymore. I think it's down
Really?
to like 10% chance now.
But it almost just feels like they play better in the snow.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget that Brady game against, I think, the Titans. It was literally a blizzard and he threw like 6 touchdowns. It was insane.
I think they scored 28 in the first quarter.
Yeah. It was just absolutely insane. I have gone back and forth on this game. That's why I was trying to figure out a loophole in the total to take, because I don't know who to take. Green Bay is 10-3 against the spread this year with a line of 8 or under, and there has only been 4 teams that have won 3 straight road games in the playoffs. So because of that, I'm going to take Green Bay minus the 3. Those are the only 2 numbers. I mean, everything else just is too close. Yeah. So I'm going to take Green Bay minus the 3. I mean, I could change my mind last minute. If I do take Tampa Bay, I'm going to take the money line.
Okay.
That would be the only thing. That's the only thing I would change to. I think either Green Bay wins by more than 3 or Tampa Bay wins outright. But right now I'm leaning Green Bay.
All right. Okay. So what I did for this weekend is I looked at the officiating crew. Okay. So
that is one angle I did not take.
Yeah. So this game is Cleet Blakeman and whatever his crew is. On the regular season, favorites were 9-5 against the spread. Over-unders were 11-3. Now some more stats. Basically, I'll just give you my pick right now. I'm taking the over. So let's see. In Blakeman's games, he officiated with a Green Bay game twice. The over has hit in both. Favorite has covered in both. However, the Packers against the Bucs this year was by far the Packers' worst game. They lost 38-10. Only game Rodgers had multiple interceptions, and only game he had 0 touchdowns. But in 7 out of the last 8, Green Bay has scored over 30. Tampa Bay has scored over 30 in 5 straight. They are respectively the number 2 and number 4 offense when you adjust for strength of opponents. The over is 6-0 in Green Bay's last 6 home postseason games. So everything is pointing over. And then something, I looked into the weather a little bit too. It's kind of negligible from what I saw. You looked at a little bit different weather than I did. Green Bay has won 81% of their home games with a temperature below 32 since 1992, and Rodgers has a career home win rate of 80%. So it's pretty spot on from what I saw. Mm-hmm. But everything is pointing to points. The ref, which I think is actually kind of big. The ref, and then both of these offenses are just on fire.
Right. So, the only, and then another thing I didn't mention that kind of worries me, because like I said, when I first looked at it, I said, cold snow game over. Like it's got to go over.
Yeah.
But Green Bay's defense is sneaky good. Nobody's talking about them. They're giving up like 17 points a game over the last, like, I think 7 games.
Yeah. And when you look at the public, all the money is on the over and all the money is on Green Bay. So yeah. I'm not a big fade the public guy anyways, but
I'm not either.
Some of you listening might be. So take that information how you will.
All right. And then the last game of the week is the Bills +3 at Kansas City. The total is 54.
What are you thinking?
The Bills are 12-6 against the spread. Kansas City is 7-10 against the spread.
Not good.
Not good. The Bills are 5-3 on the road. 4-1 as the underdog. The Chiefs are 3-6 at home and 6-9 as the favorite. I'm riding with the Bills +3.
All right.
The only thing that has me worried is, once again, looked at the weather. I haven't looked at the weather all year. All of a sudden it matters.
This is bad. You don't want to. We're both changing our strategy.
43 and rainy. When they played and the Chiefs kind of dominated that game in October, it was 47 and rainy.
Yep.
And Josh Allen played absolutely miserable, and everyone was like, well, it was the rain. Well, guess what? pretty similar situation.
And they were home that time. And KC has been loud.
Yeah.
Real loud. So, okay, you're taking Buffalo plus the points.
I mean, I them before the playoffs started to win the Super Bowl, so I gotta at least get to next week so I can.
You gotta text Brian to hedge.
So I can so I can double down because we don't hedge.
Yeah. Okay. So this game officiated by Bill Vinovich and crew. Regular season, the favorites were 7-6-1. Over-unders were 4-9-1. And overall, this playoffs has kind of shown that defenses are dead. Offense is actually dominating the NFL right now. We have the top 4 offenses when you adjust it for strength of opponents. So Buffalo's the number 1 offense, KC's number 3 offense. And I didn't have as much to say about this game as I did last one. I was going to reference what you said, just the like weather, except now Buffalo's away. I'm going to take the under, and I'll take Kansas City -3. I don't see the Chiefs losing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be back potentially this week, maybe Sammy Watkins too. And I'm not taking Kansas City minus the points if Mahomes isn't playing, but he's playing. So I'll take KC minus the points, and I'll just do the under as well. I hate taking unders. They've been brutal to me lately, but I'm not going against the numbers here.
All right. So you got KC -3, the under, and then the over in the other game.
Correct. Yep.
All right. And I got Green Bay -3 and Buffalo +3.
All right. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. So that'll wrap it up here for us at the VIG. Nice short episode this week. Ask us some questions on Twitter, and we'll answer them for you next week. See you guys.
See you.